So when the Montreal Canadiens decided not to draft Denis Savard with their number one pick and the Doug Wickenheiser debacle, a lot of people pointed to the fact they knew about this 3 years before, because three skaters, Denis Savard, the player we're profiling now, Denis Cyr, and Denis Tremblay, the Trois Denis, were playing with the Montreal Junior Canadiens, who were considered one of the best major junior lines in the history of the QMJHL. Now, what exactly happened is a matter of public record. Savard was taken by Chicago. Montreal had traded Chelios to get him. It probably cost him 2 cups while getting another. Denis Cyr went on to an okay career, but Denis Tremblay wasn't even drafted, which was a cautionary tale, because all people were saying, oh, you can put up great Q numbers, but just like Denis Tremblay, you might never get drafted. Now, that's all well and good. So we're going to concentrate on the one player I know in the mix of the Tremblays. Sort of fell under the radar, but he was, again, a great player. So Denis Cyr, born Verdun, Quebec, one of the greatest hockey communities in Canada, played a right wing in the NHL for Calgary, his draft team, Chicago, and the St. Louis Blues. Again, he was part of that line, the Trois Denis, or the Three Denises, again with the juniors in the late 70s, early 80s. Now, he first came to major prominence in the 1974 Quebec International PB Hockey Tournament with a minor hockey team from Verdun. Now, Cyr started his notable hockey career again with the juniors. Denis Savard and Denis Tremblay were boyhood friends. They also shared the same birth date, February 4th, 1961. One Quebec media person had said they were sent by the gods under the same, what they call horoscope sign, to change hockey. They also grew up together in the same Verdun neighborhood. Now, Savard, the most famous of the three and a Hockey Hall of Fame member, asked, what are the odds of that when you think about it? We played together as kids from age 8 all the way until I turned pro. The line would play 2 full seasons together in Montreal from 77 to 79. They combined for 299 points in their first season and 366 in his second. Tremblay was traded, unfortunately, 24 games into 79-80. However, Savard and Cyr both demolished their previous career highs with 181 and 146 points, respectively. Now, Denis, 5'10", 180. Over 3 seasons in Montreal before he was drafted, put up 101, 126, and 146 points. Back-to-back 70-goal seasons. He was a Q All-Star 1980, first team, All-Star second team in 79, and again, coming into the 1980 draft, he was considered the 1980 number 8 prospect. Now, when Calgary drafted him, it was a very interesting path to the NHL because he played 10 games with the Flames in 81, but also played 57 games with the juniors that year with 90 points in 57 games. So his rookie campaign in 82, 12 goals and 10 assists for 22 points, but he was also saw some time in Oklahoma City with 10 goals and 4 assists for 14 points in 14 games. Now, 83 was a very weird year. He was eventually traded from Calgary to Chicago. He played with Chicago for parts of 2 seasons, ended up in Springfield, then in St. Louis system over 2 seasons, but eventually found his way to Peoria, where he put up some great IHL numbers, including 70 points in his last pro season in 87. Now, Cyr went 13 overall to Calgary. Savard, of course, drafted 3rd behind Babbage as well. Babbage was taken by Winnipeg. Now, the last season in junior led again to a 10-game call-up. You could have major junior play, but you could still play select amount of games. For some reason, it didn't work in Calgary. And he was traded to Chicago for, of all people, Kerry Wilson, a very, very underrated player as well. Now, the Hawks were hoping for Cyr to rekindle his chemistry with Denis Savard, who had already established himself as an elite NHL player by this time. However, Cyr still could not secure a permanent NHL position, and after a couple of seasons moved on to St. Louis and eventually retired. Now, his dedication in Peoria continued. After winning the Cup in '85, he would later become the GM of the Riverbend, going on to win the Turner Cup again in '91. Now, the final NHL totals, 193 games played, 41 goals, 43 assists for 84 points. He also does work currently on behalf of the Chicago Blackhawk Alumni Association. Now, a native of Peoria, he also created the Cyr Financial Group there several years ago, quite successful from what I heard. Now, he was eventually elected to the Peoria City Council by a single vote in 2017. Now, interesting about Mr. Cyr, he played in the World Junior Championships in '81, of course, the year before we made the breakthrough, and that was a very strong team. He scored 2 goals and assists in 5 games in that event, and that really started putting our junior program again more seriously. Now, he was an original Calgary Flame. He never played in Atlanta, and that initial season, technically he's an original Flame. Now, he was the first draft pick in Calgary Flames history, again after Atlanta announced its intention to relocate to Calgary. He played his first NHL game in Montreal when he was called up for his local junior team while Calgary was on a road trip, and had an assist in that contest. Now, he missed part of the '82 season with a dislocated shoulder, an injury suffered in January '82. He missed part of the '83 season with a broken nose in a game against Philadelphia, where Chicago was having a big rivalry against the Flyers. Unfortunately, again, he was released by Chicago in June '84, then signed with St. Louis as an unrestricted free agent, and then eventually released by St. Louis in July '86. Now, again, we're talking about the World Juniors, 7th place at the Worlds, again, but still a strong squad. Again, just a reminder, IHL Turner Cup 85, playoff MVP, again 85, playoff points leader with 32, and goals leader that year in 18. So a great 85 season in the IHL. And Peoria won the regular season crown as well. And he was, I think it was 6 seasons with Peoria as a GM. Now, again, he stayed there after his retirement, and also served as chairman and later chairman emeritus of the Peoria Youth Hockey Association, and also coached in that group as well. Great association. Should check them out on Facebook or online. Very interesting product development. Now, he was also named to the right wing position on the all-time Montreal QMJHL team by a CHL panel in 1999. But you know something, I remember the Hockey News talking about the Kerry Wilson trade. If anybody knows Kerry Wilson, it was a kind of a similar path as well. There was high expectations, but just to make the NHL and play for 3 teams, he was never going to be another Denis Savard, because Denis, Emmett Smith, Darryl Moose Johnson, and Tremblay was sort of like a pickup receiver like Dallas had at the time. All 3 Denis were tremendous. It just happens, everything's a little bit different. You're not going to get a duplicate. One was a superstar in the NHL, one was a medium star, and one didn't make it. But that doesn't diminish what they did. They really put the Q back on the map, because it made a lot of people exciting. Because Bob Sirwell, the former Washington Capitals scoring star, who has written books about the fact that the disrespect of the Q League has been through the years. But that put it back on the map for quite some time, and led to LaFontaine and other people, like Americans and other non-Canadians who were playing in the Q, were getting more, recognition. So they were groundbreaking. But I saw them play a couple of games. My God. You know, you see a hyena chasing after an animal? They chase for that puck, and that zoom. It was like 3 Connor McDavids, like, you know, all the different types of skill set that Connor has, passing, shooting, skating. They had it in different ways. Then he had certain talent that Tremblay and Denis Cyr didn't have. Denis Cyr sometimes a little bit more aggressive than Denis Savard, and Denis Savard was sort of like, holding on to puck, holding it on. But I can tell you something. I saw Denis Cyr play for Calgary. I was thought for sure that guy was going to be a superstar. But he was emotionally frustrated in Calgary. That's what I saw. Actually, there is a game of Denis Cyr, one of his last games in Calgary against Montreal. I think it was when Pat Brigham was still playing. It's quite interesting to see the growth of the Calgary Flames from 82 to 86. Players like Cyr weren't making out, were left go in Houston, and different people were brought in, and got them to the finals in 86 and won in 89, so it's quite interesting. So ladies and gentlemen, that's our little mini story on the Denis Cyr and the Trois Denis, including a little bit on Denis Tremblay. Please give us a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're a big fan of Denis Cyr, tell me your thoughts. If you saw him play in Montreal, handsome people, all the women loved him, ladies and gentlemen. Trois Denis Line, as my dad used to call him. Have a good day. Bye.